CBS released an article about compound medications that's sure to spark a lot of debate and conversation within the community. Let me highlight the things that I think are pertinent to you. What CBS uncovered in this is that there are about 28 providers of the actual base API ingredient manufacturers in China that are providing the API to both 503A and 503B pharmacies. Now, we've talked a lot about the difference between 503A and 503B, but the real question lies in, will the compounds continue to exist if the FDA shortage ends? Real quickly, basically, the shortages aren't going to end. We've been told by Eli Lilly for tirzepatide, that's MOUNJARO and Zepbound, that the shortages for that will persist long into 2026 when orforglipron, their oral GLP-1 molecule, comes out in a pill form that will help to sort of be a pressure release valve for the shortages on the manufacturer's pens. Of course, orforglipron will probably be a better option for people in maintenance, as the weight loss with orforglipron doesn't really come near what weight loss does for most people on average for tirzepatide. If and when the medication does come off an FDA shortage, the 503B pharmacies have to stop manufacturing this in scale. They can't mass produce it. That's why 503B pharmacies exist. 503A pharmacies will likely still be able to provide compounded medications, but to a much smaller amount of patients. Let's get into why that is. 503A pharmacies exist to fill individual medications, right? So 503B, think they mass produce. 503A, they're just filling your individual vial with medication, reconstituting your compound. And typically, and this is why they'll be able to continue to do this even when the shortage ends, is that they're usually compounding, mixing it with something else, because the patient who the medication's been prescribed to can't tolerate an ingredient in the brand name, can't tolerate a preservative in the brand name, has injection site reactions, or something that happens with perhaps side effects like fatigue, where they might combine it with a B vitamin. They're mixing it with something else to make a drug that the end user can tolerate. For that reason, 503A pharmacies would continue to have the ability to make compounded versions of these medications, but there had have to be a medical case that was requiring the person to need a compounded version, whereas right now they just sort of exist and they're everywhere because of the shortages. In the early 2010s, Congress enacted a law that allowed 503B pharmacies to basically mass produce medicine that was in FDA shortage. So it is the shortages that are allowing mass produce and mass availability of compound medications if and when those shortages go away, which won't be anytime soon. But if they were to go away, 503A pharmacies would still be able to make individual compound medications, but there would have to be a medical requirement that the patient necessitated a different formulation than the brand name. I hope this helped answer some questions for you. I'm sure that there will be a lot of talk about this in the community. There always is. Make sure you like, save, and share this with somebody else who might find it helpful.